Did you know that your mind is keeping secrets from you? And that you can unlock those secrets through Kokology. Kokology is a fun and unique way of diving into your subconscious mind through simple and often quirky psychological scenarios. Each scenario is designed to ask questions that reveal hidden aspects of how you think, feel, and react to the world around you. The idea is that your answers say a lot more about you than you might think. It's a playful way to get to know yourself better. And this is the ultimate Kokology test with 45 scenarios designed to unlock the mysteries of your behaviors, relationships, and desires. I will guide you through each scenario and ask you either multiple choice or open-ended questions. After each one, you will answer with the first thing that pops into your mind. If you second guess your answer, it will not work, okay? The secret key, the secret sauce, is to go with your immediate response. Don't think, oh, that was a weird answer. That's the one you need to go with. That's your clue. That's your key. After you respond, I will reveal what your answers might mean. But please, 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 remember, I am sharing the commonly accepted meanings. Everything can be interpreted differently based on your unique situation. And you will hear between scenarios to signal that a new scenario is starting. And please, please, please remember, our Kokology sessions are for entertainment purposes and self-reflection only. Any insights shared in this session should not be taken as professional psychological advice. I am starting off with 1, 2, 3 new Kokology prompts, and then moving into a compilation. Every Kokology question I have ever asked, but your experiences and circumstances are constantly changing, shifting, and morphing, so it's always good to revisit scenarios and see how your psychology has changed over time. Taking a second now to make sure you subscribe to this channel before we begin. Thank you. Alright, are you ready? Nice and relaxed, giving yourself permission to let go. Wonderful. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathing out. Relaxing deeper, deeper, deeper. And now, a volcanic eruption is absolutely mesmerizing. It's nature's raw power on full display. The molten lava surging and spewing out as smoke billows into the sky, turning everything to ash in an instant. It's easy to feel shock and awe at the sheer scale of it all, right? What do you think? You are currently standing within view of an erupting volcano. Which of these thoughts crosses your mind as you watch it erupt? You have 4 options, and they are: 1. feels like nature's sending a message about how we're treating the planet. 2. I guess all that pressure inside finally blew. 3. This is insane. I can't stop watching. So epic. 4. It's just a volcano doing its thing. Nothing to freak out about. Again, the 4 options are: 1. It feels like nature's sending a message about how we're treating the planet. 2. I guess all that pressure inside finally blew. 3. This is insane. I can't stop watching. So epic. 4. It's just a volcano doing its thing. Nothing to freak out about. Got it. Do you have your selection? What would be running through your mind? The way you react to an erupting volcano says a lot about how you handle the explosive anger or outbursts of an authority figure, like a boss, parent, coach, or teacher. If you thought, feels like nature's sending a message about how we're treating the planet, you are the type who can own up to your mistakes without hesitation. That same level of awareness and maturity helps you clear the air and make sure everything gets back on track. Maybe you thought, I guess all that pressure inside finally blew. You tend to shift the blame whenever things go wrong. If you thought you were making a mistake, you wouldn't have done it in the first place, right? Did you think, this is insane, I can't stop watching, so epic? You take criticism in stride, but that doesn't mean you brush it off. Your calm, positive energy definitely leaves a good impression on your superiors, especially after they've cooled down and forgotten what they were even upset about in the first place. Or was it, it's just a volcano doing its thing, nothing to freak out about? Big rants, harsh words, and over-the-top critiques don't really faze you. You probably just tune them out. It's a low-stress way to get through a verbal blow-up, but here's the thing. You might be missing out on actually learning from your mistakes. Maybe it's time to start paying a little more attention to the noise. There could be something useful in there after all. When life gets stressful or frustrating, it's totally natural to want to escape. Just ditch everything and leave the world behind for a bit. Think about it. When you're in love with someone who doesn't feel the same way, or when work feels like a constant uphill battle, sometimes the best option seems like getting as far away as possible until things calm down. Taking a break can clear your head and give you the space to do what you want to do. But as tempting as it is to just drop everything and walk out the door, it's way easier to imagine than to actually make happen. Maybe that's why we find ourselves looking up at the sky, wishing we could just fly away and be free. Lucky you, you've decided to go skydiving. You're about to make your first jump. As you stand on the ground to await your turn, you watch the other skydivers free fall from the sky. What goes through your mind as you watch them? This is open-ended, so tell me, what are you thinking as you watch them fall? What are you thinking? It's your turn. The plane climbs to 10,000 feet. You glance at the open door, take a deep breath, and step out into space. What's the first thing you scream as you plummet toward Earth? What do you scream first? You've landed. You're hauling in your chute when you hear an instructor calling out to you. What are they saying? Here's what it reveals. The adrenaline rush from skydiving is a physical high of its own, quite like the rush you get from sex. The way you described your jump actually says a lot about how you approach intimacy. How you felt while waiting your turn says a lot about your level of sexual desire. Was it something like, I can't wait, you're ready to dive into the experience? Maybe it was, I don't know if I can go through with this. You might need a little connective reassurance first. The words you scream as you fall reflect what you'd say when you're most aroused. Something like, wow, would you look at this view? Suggests a bit of exhibitionism. Thinking, maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all, indicates you tend to second guess your choices in your partners. Or did you say, I want my mommy? Let's move on. The words the instructor said to you are what you'd imagine your partner saying to you after sex. Did they tell you you'd get better with practice? Maybe they asked if you wanted to go again. Or did they ask you for a method of payment? Spiders have a strange power over us, don't they? They're tiny, but in our minds they're so much bigger, thanks to a mix of fear and respect. I want you to imagine now that you are a spider, sitting at the center of a large web that you have spun. Tell me, how many insects are trapped in your web? How many insects are trapped in that web of yours? And what type of insects are trapped in it? What type have you got in that web? You're about to make a meal of one of the insects, but somehow it slips free from the web and bolts for safety. As it scurries away, it says something to you. What does it say? What is that bug saying as it scurries away? The spider is a master hunter. How you imagine life as a spider says a lot about how you approach hunting for love. The number of bugs directly relates to your own conquests in love. How many have you truly caught? The type of bugs you caught reflect how you feel about your former lovers. Was there a mosquito in there? A housefly? A cockroach? Some spiders will take anything that comes their way. The parting words of the bug that escaped are your own memories of a romance that failed or ended in rejection. We've all been shot down at some point, but the these are the words that hit you the hardest. Something like, "You'll never catch me," might feel like a brutal blow to the ego, while a "better luck next time" is a bittersweet reminder that some things just aren't meant to be. Or was theirs a triumphant escape within "I'm free, I'm free"? The world is a stage, and the star of the show is you. Right now, you are a member of a theater group. What kind of play would you most want to act in? In terms of genres, if it's easier for you to think of a movie genre to answer this specific question, you can do that. So, which genre would you most want to act in? And in this play, what do you picture as your standout scene? The scene that you're known for. If you can get as descriptive as possible here, that would be wonderful. Standout scene. Okay, you auditioned for the part, and you are selected for the starring role. Congratulations. What does your main rival say to you when they realize the starring role belongs to you? Flash forward. It is the last dress rehearsal before opening night. You see the director sitting with their arms folded across their chest. They look dissatisfied with your performance. What don't they like about it? What do you think? Well, the performance is flawless, and the play is a huge success. The audience went home happy and satisfied after an encore, and now the theater is quiet as you stand there looking out over the darkened stage. What do you say to the empty hall? Here's what it means. The theater represents a world of imagination that you create for yourself. Your answers reveal what lies awaiting in your own future. The type of play you wished to perform corresponds to the energy that surrounds your future. Did you foresee a comedy, a melodrama, a tragedy? This is the undertone for your future life experiences, and your standout scene reveals what you predict to be the turning point of your life. Was your standout scene a dramatic confrontation? You foresee a significant challenge in your future. Was it a heartwarming reunion? Then you'll reconnect with and resolve past issues with someone you love. Maybe it was a thrilling escape. That might mean you foresee yourself breaking free from routine to live life according to your rules. Was it a comedic mishap? You'll try to avoid taking responsibility of your life. And if your standout scene was a romantic encounter, that special someone is going to come along and completely alter your course. Your rival reflects how your future self might react to your current self, or who you are right now. How your rival reacts when they discover you've landed the lead role is what you anticipate feeling when you look back on your life, did they offer encouragement and tell you to keep up the good work, or maybe they warned you not to get cocky and that you still have a long road ahead of you? The director observes every aspect of the performance with a detached and objective eye. Their dissatisfaction highlights a weakness that you unconsciously recognize in yourself. This flaw highlights an area you're most likely to make mistakes in the future. For example, if the director said your character was overshadowed by the scenery, you may need to be more assertive in your own life. You're the star here, after all. On the other hand, if they told you to quit hogging the stage, you might want to try toning it down a notch. Just be yourself. There's no need to be over the top. And if they said you were unremarkable, maybe try being a little more enthusiastic at whatever it is you do. If you're bored by your own performance, imagine how everyone else feels. Your words to the empty theater are what you picture yourself saying at the end of your life. Making moves now. You are working for an urban planning corporation, and you've been assigned to the community development team for a major project. You have been asked to come up with an inspirational theme for the city. What theme do you propose? The project team has a number of members, each with a certain set of experiences and skills. Why do you think you were selected to participate in this project? Feel free to give as many reasons as you'd like. Tell me, what kind of person is the project manager? Describe their personality and qualities as a leader. Okay, are you ready? Towns and cities are natural symbols of social life. Most of the cities we're familiar with sprang up unplanned and spread outward and upward in a seemingly random way. But this scenario asks you to deliberately plan a city for the future, which gives your mind the chance to express its vision of an ideal setting for human interaction. Your answers reveal your approach and feelings about the social world around you. The theme you selected for the new city is something that you feel is absolutely essential to your happiness as a member of society. And for most people, that means the very thing they sense is most lacking in their current environment. Was your theme something ideal, like harmony, peace, or nature? Or did you pick something along the lines of a cartoon fantasy where the sun is always shining? The reasons you gave for being picked for the team are strengths you see in yourself that no one else recognizes. That may be because those strengths are not quite as strong as you might like to think. The people around you are the most objective judges of your potential. Don't be afraid to listen to what others have to say about your abilities. Their evaluations can steer you away from the dead-end streets of overconfidence and self-deception. The team manager reveals your own image of yourself in the future. Do you see yourself developing into a supportive, motivated, and inspirational leader? Or a harsh, unreasonable, and overly demanding boss? If it is the latter, you may want to reconsider the particular path to personal development that you are currently heading down. Let's break for some coffee. Coffee is an experience you only come to appreciate once childhood ends. That rich smell, the slight bitterness, the energy boost. In the right setting and at the right time, coffee can even help you unwind and clear your mind. Today is one of those days. Your schedule is free, so you decide to take yourself out to a coffee shop. What does this coffee shop look like? Can you describe the atmosphere and the energy of the shop you chose? You go up to the counter and place your coffee order. What do you do as you wait for it to be brought to the table? The coffee arrives. You take your first sip. How does it taste? What temperature is it? Coffee and coffee shops are closely intertwined with ideas of adulthood and socializing. Your responses reveal how you manage stress in your adult relationships. The atmosphere and energy of the coffee shop is actually what you seek most in your workplace or your school environment. Some thrive in a lively environment where they are elbow to elbow with other like-minded people. Others value quiet and solitude. And there are others who really don't care what the atmosphere is like, as long as the coffee comes in a bottomless cup. What you did while waiting for your coffee to arrive relates to a major stressor or concern in your life. For example, did you just sit and watch the other customers? This indicates you're a little too anxious about what everyone else is doing, saying, and thinking. Or did you start scrolling through your phone? This is a sign you crave deeper connection in life and are distracting yourself from finding true fulfillment. The flavor and temperature of the coffee correlate to the level of stress that you needlessly create for yourself. The better the coffee, the less stress you create for yourself. If you imagined it was lukewarm, scalding hot, weak, or too bitter, you make problems where there are none to begin with. If you can create any scenario you imagine, why not treat yourself to a nice cup of coffee in your mind? When it comes to relaxing outdoor activities, fishing never seems to go out of style. It's hard to think of another hobby that has as many die-hard fans as fishing does. So, what is the magic behind its appeal? Let's find out right now. Because you are out fishing for the day. And suddenly, you get a bite on the line. As you reel in the fish, it thrashes around and smacks right into you. Where on your body does the fish hit you? Show me on your body where this fish hit you. Alright, here's what it means. That fish acted out what could be perceived as a final counterattack. The area it struck is a place you really want to protect. This is a part of your body that you feel insecure or really sensitive about. You often worry that this area of your body will be discovered and criticized or attacked by others. Speaking of the body, hospitals are unique worlds where life and death, sadness and happiness intersect daily. And you're in the lobby of a medical clinic, waiting for your name to be called. A small boy is running around the waiting area, unsupervised. You tell him to be careful and slow down. How does he react to this? As you look around, you see the door to the examination room is open, just enough for you to catch a glimpse of a gray and unhealthy-looking person being examined by the doctor. You realize the person is someone you know. Who is it? The nurse appears and calls your name. Oddly, the nurse looks like someone you know. Who does the nurse remind you of? After you've been examined, the doctor calls you into his office. When you enter, he stays seated with his back to you, muttering to himself while reviewing your chart. He shows no sign of explaining anything to you. How do you handle this situation? Let's break this down. The hospital is a place of sickness and health. By visualizing yourself in this scenario, you tapped into parts of your psychology that feel weak or in need of care. The boy's reaction reflects how you respond to criticism, or when others point out your flaws. Did he act as if he didn't hear you? Or did he stop and apologize? Maybe he stuck his tongue out in defiance. This shows you how others perceive your reactions when you're criticized. The person you recognized on the exam table is someone you feel like you could never rely on in a crisis. The person you thought the nurse looked like represents someone who significantly influences your life. This is someone you have always looked up to, whether it's out of admiration or fear. Regardless of how much you grow or what you achieve, this person will still be seen as an authority figure in your mind. Your response to the doctor's behavior reveals how you deal with being bullied or teased. Do you wait it out, demand an explanation, or simply walk away? Your reaction can highlight your coping strategies in challenging situations. Music boxes are intentionally designed to provide joy and comfort. They remind us of simpler times and can soothe us to sleep with their delicate music. You fall in love with a very specific music box that you find in an antique store. You buy it on an impulse and take it home. Its melody is enchanting, but one day it unexpectedly stops playing. How long after you buy the music box does it stop playing? How do you feel as you hold the broken music box in your hands? Are you ready? The music box symbolizes beauty and joy, as well as the inevitable end of something delightful. We're talking romance, the pleasures of love, and how exactly you anticipate love ending. The length of time the music box plays before breaking mirrors your expectations about the longevity of love. Did it last years, a few months, or just a few days? You know, with a little tenderness and care, the melodies of love might last longer than you expect. Your feelings toward the broken music box reflect how you handle the end of a relationship. Did you dismiss it as inevitable and throw it out? Maybe you grumbled about poor quality and guilted yourself over making the purchase. Or did you immediately set out to find a replacement? Or maybe you tried to fix it. Sometimes persistence is all it takes to fix something that seems broken. I want you to imagine that you are a legendary warrior in an ancient kingdom. You've just been handpicked to join the kingdom's celebrated hero on a high-stakes mission. Your quest? To recover stolen treasure. What does the hero say to you as you prepare to start out on your journey? What do they say to you? Before you leave, the king gives you a sword. This sword will help you through your adventure. What kind of sword is it? Please be very detailed. Size, material, any markings, etc. What kind of sword is it? Your travels take you across towering mountains and through dense, mysterious forests. Along the way, you encounter a range of obstacles and enemies. How many enemies have you met exactly? Finally, you reach the mouth of the cave where the stolen treasure is hidden. Right as you both discover the treasure, you turn to look at the hero's expression. What expression is on the face of the hero? Please describe this expression in as much detail as you can. Here's what this reveals about you. Stepping into the role of a warrior on a crucial mission brings a sense of pride and responsibility, doesn't it? Your answers are connected to how you interact with and are motivated by the people around you. The words the hero said to you are words that stir your pride and inspire action. Did they say something empowering like, "You're going to do great"? Maybe it was less encouraging, something like, "Don't mess this up," or "I'm stuck with you." If so, you are driven by tough love or the need to prove yourself. The sword you received symbolizes your own self-esteem. Was it a brilliantly crafted blade, or was it a rusty weapon, barely fit for battle? This choice mirrors how you view your self-worth. The number of enemies encountered reflects the obstacles and challenges you've conquered in life so far. The more enemies you had, the more confident and proud you should be of your achievements. Did you encounter just one or two? You might see yourself as someone who is still gaining life experience. You might need a bit more adventure to build self-assurance. And if you didn't meet any enemies, that might suggest you've never faced something that's truly demanding. How did the hero react when finding the treasure? the expression you imagined on their face, whatever it might be, relief, tears of joy, satisfaction, a beaming smile. This is the expression you find most attractive on a person of the opposite sex. You are now in the waiting room of the ER at a large hospital. While you wait, you start to look around at the people in the waiting room with you. You realize several of them are acquaintances of yours. Please give the name of someone you actually know as the answer to each situation you are about to see. Who has their head wrapped in gauze? Remember, this is the name of someone you know. Who has their face covered in bandages? Who has their leg in a cast? The symptoms you linked to the different people in your life reveal the ways you perceive they are weak. Basically, these people contain certain qualities you just don't mess with. The head often represents leadership and the ability to take control of a situation. The person you saw with their head wrapped in gauze is someone you don't trust to be a leader. You will never follow their rules or consider taking their advice. The face symbolizes personality. The person with their face covered in bandages is someone you don't accept or get along with. You find it very difficult to connect with their personality. The leg is a symbol of progress and stability. The person who had their leg in a cast is someone you see as an obstacle. This person slows you down or holds you back. Maybe they're lazy, maybe they're spacey. It can be any number of things, but you see this person as keeping your wings clipped. They prevent you from flying. If any of the diagnoses feel a bit harsh, remember, the first step toward healing is acknowledging the issue. You're a research scientist, but not just any research scientist. You just cracked the code for human cloning. After countless experiments and some serious cutting-edge tech, you have successfully created a perfect replica of yourself. It's a huge victory for science, but there's one tiny hiccup. This clone has one personality flaw that you don't have. So, what flaw does this otherwise flawless clone of yours have? What is their flaw? By stepping into the shoes of a research scientist, you've given yourself the chance to examine your character with the detached exactness of a lab experiment. Everyone has aspects of their personality they choose to ignore or brush aside, but a clone lets you view your secret faults and repressed desires from a safe distance. You might realize your flaws are not as buried as you once believed. They might be close to the surface and quite easy to see. Life is full of surprises. We are constantly hit with unexpected twists. And while some are great, others are disastrous. Because so much exists beyond our control, we often develop habits and routines to navigate the chaos. You're out for a walk when you get caught in a torrential downpour. Even at a full sprint, you would still be 5 minutes away from your destination. What do? You have 4 options, and they are: Option 1, find shelter under a tree and wait out the storm. Option 2, sprint and power through the rain. Option 3, share someone's umbrella or find a store that sells one. Option 4, you always carry a folding umbrella, so you use that. Again, the options are: Option 1, find shelter under a tree and wait out the storm. Option 2, sprint and power through the rain. Option 3, share someone's umbrella or find a store that sells one. Or Option 4, you always carry a folding umbrella, so use that. Have you made your selection? The rainstorm symbolizes the unpredictable moments in life, like a disagreement between a friend or loved one. Your response here reveals how you typically deal with that type of conflict. If you found shelter under a tree to wait out the storm, you prefer to let the dust settle before addressing any disagreements. You prefer to let the other person have their outburst. Once they've tired themselves out, you calmly present your perspective in a rational manner. Some see this as being intelligent. Others find it sneaky. If you sprinted and powered through the rain, you care more about standing your ground and speaking your mind than you do about the end result. There's no sense in arguing the point with you because you are sure you're right. You will match the other person in the argument. If they yell, you scream. Other people will always know your position on an issue. If you shared someone's umbrella or stopped at a store and bought your own, you are all about diffusing the situation. In conflict, you try to soothe any tensions and find common ground. This approach doesn't always resolve the issue. It can even make things worse. At times, you need to weather the storm and be more assertive. If you always carry a folding umbrella, you are prepared for whatever comes your way. In arguments, you have a response for every point and a counter to every claim. While this makes you great at debating, people might find you to be frustrating and evasive. But it's likely that you have a good explanation for that, too. You find yourself in the audience at a parade, watching it go by. The air is full of joy and excitement. Everyone is having the time of their life. The floats are vibrant and dazzling, and the confetti is showering down upon you like colorful rain. As you soak it all in, you spot 2 familiar faces in the heart of the parade. One is wearing a yellow shirt. The other is dressed in blue. Who are the familiar faces that you see? Who is wearing yellow? And who is dressed in blue? The person wearing yellow is someone who brings you immense joy. This is someone who can make you laugh and smile even on your worst days. While at some point in your life, the person dressed in blue has caused you emotional pain or made you cry? You're strolling through the zoo, observing all the animals in their cages. A single monkey captures your attention. You move in closer, you lean in, and look at it. There's an expression in its eyes. It feels like it's trying to tell you something. What is this monkey trying to tell you? What is the monkey trying to tell you? Caged animals embody the rules and restrictions society imposes on natural human instincts. We tend to relate most with monkeys because they reflect our own struggles with feeling confined. The message you received from the monkey reveals how you truly feel about your lack of freedom. It might even echo certain things you wish you could say about a company, social system, or group of people that you feel runs and even ruins your life. Here are a few of the more common answers and what they might indicate. For example, if the monkey says, "I want a banana," you are easily satisfied and controlled. Consider holding out for what you're worth. You might double your bananas. Maybe the monkey said something like, "What are you looking at? Keep it moving." Then it's less about conforming to societal rules for you and more about a lack of personal space and an invasion of privacy. Make sure that you prioritize enough time for self-reflection. Alternatively, you could have said, "I am going insane in this prison cell, set me free." This is your sign to take a vacation. Monsters come in all shapes and sizes, right? But what is a monster to you? Because there's one headed straight toward you right now. Get a good look at it. Can you describe it for me? This monster is so filled with rage that it can't be reasoned with. What is making it so angry? You have 4 options to choose from here. The first, it's starving and hunting for food. The second, it's looking for its lost love. The third, it's in despair because it's ugly. Option 4, it's angry at the world. Again, 4 options. You have to choose one here. Option 1, it's starving and hunting for food. Option 2, it's looking for its lost love. Option 3, it's in despair because it's ugly. Or option 4, it is angry at the world. Have you made your selection? Good. Well, the monster is an embodiment of your own shadow, or the dark side of your personality. Each and every one of us has a shadow. Its size, shape, color, and mannerisms are so specific to you that they require a much more involved personal analysis. So please file that away for your own research, and for a later date, we can cover it in a different session. But for now, we will deal with the shadow's anger, which mirrors a source of stress in your own life. If you chose option 1, your monster or shadow stems from food. Do you get angry? It can be difficult to keep cool when you're starving. However, this can also indicate that you struggle with eating in moderation or maintaining a healthy weight. If you went with option 2, you may be struggling with your love life. That's pretty straightforward, but don't give up. You will find someone. If you selected option 3, your appearance makes you feel insecure in some way. You may magnify a negative self-image to the point that it influences how the rest of the world perceives you. Try to find ways to learn to love what you see in the mirror and watch your entire life change as a result. If you chose option 4, you are pessimistic. You'll never make the world better if you keep whining about it. In fact, you only help preserve the very world you complain about when you use all your energy to do nothing but fixate and perpetuate it. See if you can redirect that energy into taking positive action. Did someone say road trip? I did, just now, because you are cruising down a picturesque country road when you suddenly spot a strawberry farm. Temptation strikes and you pull over, eager to snag a few juicy berries. But, oh no, a fence blocks your way. How tall is this fence, and what does it look like? How tall is it? And can you describe what it looks like? Now, against all odds, you somehow find a way through the fence. You immediately start picking and eating the sweet red strawberries, savoring every bite. How many strawberries do you end up eating? How many? Just as you're about to relish another berry, the owner of the farm shows up, armed and ready. He points a gun at you. What is your response to this unexpected confrontation? Lucky you, the owner lets you go. Now you're back on the road. Reflecting on your adventure, what's your take on everything that happened? What would you say about the whole experience? Would you do it all again the same way? Alright, here's what it means. Your journey on the country road and the strawberries alongside it symbolize your temptations in life. Temptations come in more forms than simply cheating on a partner. There's also substances, social media, binge eating, impulse buying, even dishonesty. Temptations are basically anything that tests your personal willpower. And so, the height of the fence signifies your personal resistance to these temptations. The taller the fence, the more you are tempted. The lower the fence, the less you are tempted. The number of strawberries you picked and ate symbolize the extent to which you give in to these temptations. What you said to the farm owner mirrors what you'd say to your partner if they found out about a temptation you were unable to resist. The words you shared in its aftermath is how you truly feel about your temptations and giving in to them. The human spirit loves a good challenge. This desire to overcome may be the secret to our success as a species. The need to be challenged is so strong in us that sometimes we make things more difficult than they need to be. Now, imagine you are an eminent scientist who has been working to develop a new species of plant. You have spent years in your laboratory experimenting, and now your efforts are finally showing results. As the ultimate test of the hardiness of your creation, you plant 100 seeds of the new strain in a hostile desert location. How many of these 100 seeds sprout? Please give a number from 0 to 100. So how many of those seeds sprout? Do you have your number? Okay. Here's what it reveals. The number you gave as an answer correlates to your self-confidence. The scientist stands for feelings of confidence and even pride. On the other hand, the hostile desert sands represent a difficult challenge or test, which can produce feelings of doubt and uncertainty. If you answered with a higher number of seeds, you felt more familiar with the scientist and you have high confidence levels. If you answered with a lower number of seeds, you felt the challenge was too great and have lower self-confidence. Let's break this down by number range. If you said 99 to 100 seeds sprouted, it's an understatement to say you're self-confident. A better word might be vain. Sure, it is important to believe in yourself, but you tend to dismiss the challenges of the rest of the world. Remember, one of the truest signs of strength is accepting one's own weakness. If you said 81 to 98 seeds sprouted, though, you radiate confidence in yourself and your own capabilities without it coming across as arrogance. Those around you generally feel like you radiate a sense of cool certainty, and because of this, it makes you a natural leader wherever you go. If you said 61 to 80 seeds sprouted, you're best described as a cautious optimist, hoping for the best but always prepared for the worst. This realistic philosophy keeps you grounded when others might have their head in the clouds. If you said 41 to 60 seeds sprouted, your self-confidence is average. You're not cocky and you're not too unsure. You might be still finding out what it is that you're best at, or you just have healthy respect for the difficulties before you. Believe in yourself, and the world will follow suit. If you said 21 to 40 seeds sprouted, you don't doubt yourself entirely, but you tend to overestimate the challenges confronting you. Your pessimistic outlook affects the way other people see you. The only way for you to inspire confidence in others is first to have it in yourself. If you said 0 seeds sprouted, what looks like an utter lack of confidence is actually a sign of pessimistic pride. You can't tolerate the thought of being wrong or even making a mistake, so you pretend that everything is too difficult for you. If you don't learn to face those fears, you may fool the world into thinking that you will never do well. But you will always know that you never even tried. There are some hard truths there. And sticking with the plants. Keeping plants offers us the chance to give without any promise of reciprocation, gratitude, or even reward. It is true that plants ask for little, just some water and sunlight, but in a material sense, they give even less in return. Perhaps we keep them because they fill a very human need, the need to be needed. A potted plant you've been trying to keep on your balcony falls over the ledge it was sitting on. You run outside to survey the damage. What do you see? you have 4 options, and they are: option 1, the plant landed on the ground, upright and intact. Option 2, the pot broke, but the plant seems to have survived the fall. Option 3, the pot and plant are both smashed beyond recovery. Option 4, for some strange reason, there is no sign of either plant or pot. Again. That is 4 options, and option 1, the plant landed on the ground, upright and intact. Option 2, the pot broke, but the plant seems to have survived the fall. Option 3, the pot and plant are both smashed beyond recovery. Option 4, for some strange reason, there is no sign of either plant or pot. Have you made your selection? Well, the sheltered life of a potted plant corresponds to a hidden, guarded side of your character and the ways you try to keep the world from penetrating your social mask. So, if the plant landed on the ground, upright and intact, you appear to be strong and confident, and are always eager to show off how you can keep it cool when you come under fire. But beneath that tough facade is a person more concerned with keeping up an image than actually living it. If the pot broke, but the plant seems to have survived the fall, you seem calm and unshakable to others. But the reality is, you just hate to show your emotions. Those pent-up feelings within you just keep growing, and no pot can hold them in forever. If the pot and the plant are both smashed beyond recovery, you seem to be soft-spoken and humble, but that natural listener is crying out for a chance to take center stage. You are simply waiting for an opportunity to break out of the self-imposed mold that confines you. If, for some strange reason, there is no sign of either plant or pot, you excel at generating excitement and making others laugh. People see you as the life of the party, even when there's no party in town. But that glib exterior hides a seriousness and even a shy side that you choose not to show the rest of the world. Is it getting hot in here? This is starting to feel really like a roast. How about you go shopping for some clothes? As you pass your favorite store, you see the outfit of your dreams hanging on the display floor rack. You grab it with excitement and rush back into the fitting room. As you put it on and step out to take a look in the full-length mirror, you're not only let down, you're a little disgusted. You're still processing how you look when the sales assistant peeks in and says, "Wow, that looks great on you." How do you respond to this clash of realities? Your options are: 1, hand it to them straight and tell them it looks terrible on you. Option 2, point out the specific reasons why you don't like the outfit. Option 3, disregard the comment and keep shopping. Option 4, accept the compliment and buy the outfit. Again. Your options are: 1, hand it to them straight and tell them it looks terrible on you. 2, point out the specific reasons you don't like the outfit. 3, disregard the comment and keep shopping. Or 4, accept the compliment and buy the outfit. perhaps an extension of yourself, selected in the hopes of highlighting your best features. So, the way you responded to the compliment reveals which aspect of yourself you hold in the highest esteem. If you told the sales assistant it looked terrible on you, your greatest pride is your appearance. You don't need empty praise. You're not going to let a sales assistant in search of a commission spoil the look you've worked so hard to achieve. If you pointed out the specific reasons you didn't like the outfit, you may not look perfect all the time, but you refuse to look like a fool. You know that you perceive the world clearly, and your intellectual pride will not accept being lied to. Your personal style is an expression of refined sensibility. You would not compromise this for any reason. If you disregard the comment and keep shopping, you are very proud of your unique existence. There is no central source of pride in you. In the end, you just go your own way and let others think what they think and do as they please. If you accept the compliment and buy the outfit, you haven't yet located a source of pride within yourself. If you had, you wouldn't be letting people manipulate and deceive you. It's time to take an honest look in the mirror and like who you see looking back at you. They say that police develop a sixth sense for criminal minds, and each of us has a little bit of that criminal mind inside. Picture yourself now as a cop that's in hot pursuit of a suspect fleeing a crime scene. After a long chase, you finally manage to run them down and make an arrest. Busted. What does this cornered crook have to say for themselves? What do they have to say for themselves when you arrest them? Okay. Although you were imagining yourself as the police officer, your own hidden tendencies came out in the criminal's words. Your response gives an idea of how you reacted when your parents caught you doing something bad as a child. And if you're like most people, this is how you still behave whenever you get caught and called out by others. Is it? Let's go deeper. Moving into the depths now. Into the depths now. Down, 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 down. Into the dark world where the line between fear and thrill gets a little murky, a little blurred. You find yourself in an old abandoned building where no human has set foot in years. In this building, you find a staircase that leads underground. Slowly, you start your descent, counting the steps as you go. How many steps is it to reach the bottom of the stairs? How many steps? Give me a number. To reach the bottom of the stairs. When you reach the bottom, the room is pitch black. Out of the darkness, you hear the sound of another person. What sort of sounds are they making? Is the person weeping softly, moaning wordlessly? Is it a voice speaking to you? Which is it? Okay, and how do you react upon hearing the sounds of this other person? Is your first instinct to run up the stairs without looking back? Or do you try to find them? Maybe you're paralyzed with fear and frozen in place. Which are you? Now, you hear a person calling your name. You see a figure descending from the light at the top of the stairs. Who is the person coming down the stairs? Abandoned buildings and underground rooms are highly symbolic of buried memories and old psychological scars. We've all had an experience that we would rather not recall or A heartbreak that we thought we'd forgotten, but the memory is not so easily erased, and the things that we hoped to forget linger for much longer than we'd like to admit. Your responses to this situation show how you deal with painful memories of the past. The number of steps to the bottom of the stairs indicates the impact of your psychological scars. If you said there are only a few stairs, then you carry little from the past. But if you found a long staircase leading deep into the earth, you may carry correspondingly deep wounds inside. The sounds you heard out of the darkness reveal how you got through bad experiences in the past. If you heard weeping, you were comforted by others in times of trouble and recovered through the help you received. Those who were kind and took care of you have helped you become the person you are today. If you heard wordless moaning, you went through hard times in your past alone. The moaning you heard is your own buried pain. The time has come to open the door and let the sun shine in. Things aren't so bleak in the light of day. If you heard a voice speaking to you, you wear your old scars like a badge of honor. You seem to take the philosophy, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, to heart. Be careful not to let this harden you to other people's feelings and experiences. Your reaction to the sounds in the darkness show how you deal with the painful aspects of your own past. If you searched for the source of the sound, you likely show the same take-charge attitude in your own life. You discover solutions by facing your problems head-on. If you ran straight back upstairs without confronting the sounds, you have a history of ignoring problems in the hopes that they'll just go away. This approach may work sometimes, but don't be surprised if the trouble stays around longer than you anticipated. If you were frozen in place with fear, you may have unresolved conflicts in your past that continue to haunt you and prevent you from moving forward with your life. The person who appeared at the top of the stairs calling your name is someone you feel you can rely on in times of need. This is the person you believe will comfort you and help you heal and get you through any hardship. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Another year older, another year wiser. And when you check your mailbox, you find a card from someone you would have never expected. Who sent this card to you? You walk back inside the house to find a pile of gifts from your family and friends. Who sent you the biggest gift? Please give the name of someone who is currently in your life. Alright, this was a quicker one. The responses that you gave signify your true feelings about people in your life, feelings that you may not have been aware of. The person who unexpectedly sent you a card is actually someone that you would like to care more about you or give you more attention. They're either someone that you've been hesitant to approach or a friend that you miss that you haven't heard from in a while. This may be a sign that it's time for you to make the first move and reach out to them. As for the biggest gift, on the surface, you might associate this with good feelings toward the gift giver, but from a psychological perspective, the person who gave you the largest gift is someone whose affection you take for granted. This doesn't necessarily signify disrespect, but you do feel confident in their feelings for you. Just be careful not to get too overconfident. What feels like security to you may come across as selfishness to others. It's time for you to take the stage in the symphony. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for you to perform at your very best. And you're prepared for it. You know how to play. You are the master of your instrument. But which instrument is it that you're playing? you have four options: the violin, the string bass, the trumpet, or the flute. Again. Four options: the violin, the string bass, the trumpet, or the flute. Which instrument do you see yourself playing? What does that instrument reveal about you? Musical instruments are symbolic of members of the opposite sex. The pairing between you and your instrument shows how you perceive yourself while making love. The instrument you chose gives insight into what you think of as your strongest lovemaking technique. If you chose violin, that demands sensitive fingerwork and a delicate touch with the bow to make the music play. You see yourself as having the same awareness and skill in locating and playing upon your partner's most sensitive points. There's a sense of adventure in the way your hands can create such beautiful music by running over the same familiar notes. La la. If you chose the string bass, there's a feeling of power from taking position behind an enormous bass and making it call out in a tremendous moan. In love, your skill rests in the ability to bend your partners to your will, taking complete control and driving them onward to pleasure they never imagined they could experience. You never ask permission, but that dominating character is what makes you so irresistible. If you are playing the trumpet, there's no getting around it. Your mouth is the strongest weapon in your arsenal. Whether you're whispering in your partner's ear or exploring them with your mouth, you have all the characteristics of the oral personality. If you chose the flute demands incredible patience from those who wish to master it. You show that same patience as you wear your partners down with persistence, determination, and stamina. Your lovers are taken off guard when what they thought would be a brief recital quickly develops into a full concerto in 6 movements. Let's continue on with the sensuality. We are fixating on the color red. Red as a rose to red as a beet. When we see red, it affects us emotionally. Red may be at the low end of the spectrum of light, but it has the power to move us like no other color. I want you to imagine 3 women. Each of these women is fond of the color red and uses it to accent her appearance. The first woman has her nails painted red. The second wears red lipstick. And the third has her hair colored red. Now, I want you to imagine their personalities and describe each one. So, how would you describe the personality of the woman who has her nails painted red? What is her personality like? How does she act? What's her vibe? Okay. And now the second woman who is wearing the red lipstick. What is her personality like? What's her vibe? Okay. And the third woman with her hair colored red. What is her personality like? What's her vibe? Okay. While in some ways we all react similarly to the color red, there are also significant differences in our psychological responses. This isn't a matter of taste, but it is rooted much deeper in the mind. The images you had of the 3 women reveal the types of women you view as friend and foe. The answers do vary depending on which gender you identify with, so I will start with female first. If you identify as a female, this is what your answers mean. The woman with red nails is seen as a threat and represents the type of woman you can't imagine yourself ever getting along with. On the other hand, you feel a strange and compelling attraction to the woman with the red lips. The woman with the red hair is an image of the type of woman that you hope you will never become. If you identify as a male, this is what your answers mean. The red-nailed woman is the type of person you fear will use you or make a fool out of you, while the red-lipped woman is the type you can imagine yourself falling wildly in love with. The red-headed woman represents the type you cannot see yourself being attracted to, no matter how physically beautiful she may be. I just want to be clear with this one and say that this is not an attack on people with red hair. It's about the characteristics, the personality, the behaviors of the person you pictured having the red hair in this prompt. Of all the scenic views in the world, none can stir the imagination and calm the soul like the unbroken line where the sky meets the sea. That blue horizon is a vast space that invites the mind to relax and unwind, to soar above and dive within, to dream. You are staying at a resort hotel with an ocean view. Lying on your bed, you gaze out a huge bay window across the cool blue waters, and, soothed by the sea, you drift off to sleep. Which of the following views greets you when you wake up? Your options are: 1. A bright midday sun burning over the sea. 2. The dark ocean beneath a starry night sky. 3. A cool mist rolling in over the waters. Or 4. The sun just beginning to sink beneath the horizon at dusk. Again, your options are: 1. A bright midday sun burning over the sea. 2. The dark ocean beneath a starry night sky. 3. A cool mist rolling in over the waters. 4. The sun just beginning to sink beneath the horizon at dusk. In myths and ancient religions from around the world, the sea and the sky are pictured as an eternal couple, forever holding each other in a loving embrace. The scene outside your hotel room window is your vision of the ideal relationship between two loving partners and shows what you seek most from love. If you saw a bright midday sun burning over the sea, passionate excitement and intensity are essential to your ideal romance. For you, love isn't true love if it doesn't burn like fire, and if that means added danger, the risk is worth it in the end. If you saw the dark ocean beneath a starry sky, others may find you old-fashioned, but you place the greatest emphasis on commitment and loyalty. Your love affairs may not set the sky ablaze, but they will never ever cause any sleepless nights either. While other people's love affairs burst into flames, you will still be enjoying those nights of untroubled sleep with your partner. If you saw a cool mist rolling in over the waters, the line between friendship and love is blurred for you. The two inevitably flow into each other. Your perfect relationship is with someone you can tell your secrets to, share laughter and tears with, and just relax and be yourself around. You refuse to believe that your lover If you saw the sun just beginning to sink beneath the horizon at dusk, you seek a storybook romance with picture postcard perfection. Everything has to be just right, from the meeting to the first kiss to the house with the white picket fence. True love is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you see no reason to settle for less than the very best. Finding a good book is like making a new friend, isn't it? There's this simultaneous sense of familiarity and discovery. It's like a window has been opened into a previously unimagined world, but one you always sensed was waiting for you. Sometimes it's almost like the book has chosen you at just the right moment. This right here, this is that moment. Because a book lies open right in front of you. Do you see it? Good. What type of story does this book contain? You begin to read the book, only to discover that you yourself are a character in the story. What kind of role do you play? You continue reading and come to a section where the pages have been damaged, making them nearly impossible to read. What part of the story does this happen in? You have just closed the cover after finishing the book. How was the ending? What does it mean? 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 Let's find out. While reading habits and preferences vary from person to person, books and reading were an inevitable part of life during your time in school. Books and school are inextricably linked. So, the answers that you gave in response to this scenario echo your own experiences in school. The type of story that you imagined reflects your general impression of your school years. Did your answer suggest you lived a comedy, a mystery, a horror, or a romance? It might have even been a tragedy. Whatever it was, the fact that you survived it helped develop your character, and that's all you can really ask for as a human, right? Experiences to develop. Now, the role that you saw yourself in is the image that you have of yourself as a student. So, were you the main character? A sidekick? Comic relief? Or a background character with a single line of dialogue on page 222? Maybe your character made an appearance in this first book only to be the main character in the sequel. A lot of options here, but I think you understand what I'm saying, right? Now, the scene described in the damaged pages mirrors a situation that hurt you. Broken hearts can hurt just as much as an act of violence, if not more. And even seemingly minor traumas, they can take a lifetime to heal. So, while it might not seem like this has any immediate connection to your life, you should take a few moments to reflect. It's more than likely that you'll end up discovering a painful memory that's buried but associated with the scene in some way. Taking a moment to reflect. The story's ending is an expression of any of the feelings of closure that you had toward your days at school. Did you answer something like, "And they rode off into the sunset and lived happily ever after"? I know it sounds a little bit cliche, but that would mean that you saw your school days as a success. Or maybe you envisioned your story where your character dies at the end. That might mean that you saw graduation as a chance to be reborn into a new life. Or was your ending a cliffhanger? Did you have a to be continued? That's probably the most accurate ending that you could have, right? Because your life continues on. You just have to wait and see how it plays out in the next chapter or the next book. Now to our next daydream. Now that you're out of school, you decide to embrace your artistic side and take a ceramics class. You have just finished crafting the perfect mug, and now you need to glaze it. You've decided on a blue glaze. Tell me, of the following patterns, which did you decide to paint on the mug? Your options are stripes, polka dots, checks, or wavy lines. Again, your options are stripes, polka dots, checks, or wavy lines. Which pattern do you choose? Beautiful. Blue is the color most deeply associated with the inner workings of the mind, from the imagination to intuition to intellect. The pattern reflects the mental structure and aptitude in its approach to creativity and problem solving. If you selected stripes, you favor a direct and clear-cut approach. This makes you an astute decision maker who is able to resolve problems and put plans into instant action. You are a natural leader and perceived as a pillar of strength when times get hard. If your pattern was polka dots, your strength lies in the adaptive, artistic nature of your mind. You might be perceived as eccentric, but you make a real contribution to the world as a creator with a unique vision. That was polka dots. If you chose checks, you excel at mastering everyday demands. Few people are able to organize their lives with such quiet efficiency as you. As a result, you always seem to have the time, wealth, and compassion to share with those in need. And if you went with wavy lines, you are gifted in generating a comforting atmosphere to feel and express love. It's not that you crave attention or affection, but people do naturally feel good, taken care of, and supporting you. Just ask the people who know and love you. The world is a better place for your being in it. Moving now into the wilderness, deep in the mountains, deep into the mountains. Nature just has a power that draws us to her, doesn't she? After all, we are nature's children, born into her world, and then fed on her bounty. No matter what marvels technology may develop, getting back to nature just lets us feel truly alive. Medical science may make advances, but the best medicine will always be nature's healing power. Your next journey will take you back to that green world And what better setting for you to rediscover your natural self? You set off to climb a mountain in search of a fabulously rare stone. What is your impression of the mountain as you stand at its foot? After a hard search, you still haven't found the stone and the sun has fallen. What will you do next? All right, now you have finally discovered the stone you were seeking. What kind of stone is it? Describe its size, its weight, and its value. Size, weight, value. Now it's time to come down from the mountain and return home. What parting words do you have for the mountain? And what is its reply? So what has the mountain revealed about you? Your impression of the mountain shows the image that you have of your father. Did you find the mountain difficult and unforgiving? Or was it gentle and easily conquered? Maybe you had an idealized image of a magnificent peak that somehow seemed to welcome you and encourage you in your quest. Whatever it was, this reveals how you feel about the energy of your dad. The stone you were searching for represents your current and undiscovered talent or strength. Your response to this question reveals whether you will ever realize your untapped potential. For example, if you said that you would keep searching for the stone no matter what, you tend to show the same persistence and determination in your own life, never giving up even when your efforts seem fruitless. If you said you'd call it quits for the day, but you'd come back again in the morning to keep searching, then you are the type of person to pace yourself, spreading your effort out over a long period of time. You might be a late bloomer. If you gave up looking for the stone altogether, you're in danger of never fulfilling your true potential. And how did you describe the stone? Your description of the stone shows your feelings of self-worth. How big and heavy was it? What did you think of its value? If you valued it at $20, you might not have heaping amounts of self-worth. But if it turned out to be a rare stone worth millions, you got confidence. Your parting words to the mountain reveal what you have always wanted to, but have never been able to say to your father. That one can be heavy. From the mountains to the beach. What an adventure we are having, moving from the mountains now to the beach, and thinking of the sea now. The sea, which holds a very special power over us. Starting to hear the soft crashing of the waves, allowing the sound to soothe you as you feel the fine spray of the water fleck and speckle its drops across your skin, and taking a deep breath of salty air as you begin to leisurely stroll down the beach now, noticing how quiet it is. It seems as if you've entered another reality, one where it's only you and the waves. As you scan the beach and start to take in the sand dunes, you spot a surfboard washed up on the sand. Take a moment now to describe the surfboard and the impression that it makes on you. Since the beach is so quiet and empty, you decide to take the board into the ocean. You climb onto it and paddle out. You want to try your luck on the waves. How are the conditions for surfing today? You manage to stand on the board, and you start to experience the thrill of actually riding the wave. But suddenly, you wipe out and tumble headfirst into the water. What do you think, feel, or attempt to scream as you struggle to find your way back to the surface? When you finally emerge from the water unscathed, you look toward the shore. There's a person there. You realize they've been watching you. Who is that person? And now, for what this reveals about you sexually. Apparently, there are strong psychological associations between the sea and sex. So, how you imagined your experiences in the sea informs your expectations and your desires in the sexual realm. Who would have thought? The sea is portrayed as feminine. This is throughout history. With this in mind, the surfboard is being interpreted as a phallic symbol. So, if you identify as female, your description of the surfboard corresponds with your image and impression of masculine characteristics. If you identify as a male, your answer shows your own perception of your own physical sexuality. What do you think? Accurate? The surfing conditions you described reveal your own hopes and expectations from sex. For example, total submersion within the churning waters is a metaphor for peak sexual pleasure. Your thoughts and feelings as you struggled upward to the surface of the water correspond to the thoughts and feelings you experience in the throes of ecstasy. The person you pictured standing on the beach is someone you show a sexual intense interest in. This doesn't necessarily indicate active sexual desire. It may simply be that you're curious about what that person is like in their most intimate and vulnerable moments. But then again, maybe that's something you're looking to find out for yourself. Another type of sand, a different type of sand, the eternal desert kind of sand. We are about to embark on a journey, a long journey that will bring us face to face with the infinite. So take a moment to prepare yourself for this eternal desert. You have been riding a camel for hours across a vast and empty expanse of seemingly endless desert. You are nearing the point of exhaustion. What words do you say to the camel that has carried you all this way? You feel like you're reaching the point of dying from thirst, but suddenly, a beautiful oasis appears. You squint and see that someone you know has arrived there before you. Who is the other traveler? Who is that other traveler? As you leave the oasis, it feels like time passes so slowly. It's almost like an eternity before the lights appear, marking a town on the horizon. And then, finally, you've reached your destination. What are your feelings as you come to your journey's end? The time has come for you to part with the camel that you've traveled with for so long. Just as you dismount, a new rider climbs into the saddle to take your place. Who is the new rider? Please name someone in your life that you actually know. So now tell me, who is the new rider? And now, what the eternal desert reveals about you. The desert and the camel symbolize your journey toward personal independence. This particular scenario reveals your feelings about parting with a lover. Your answers show how you might react when the time comes for you to go your separate ways. Can you see that? The words you spoke to the camel reveal what you might say to yourself when you realize the love is lost. Did you use words of encouragement like, "We'll make it through somehow"? Or was there a hint of despair? Something like, "We are lost. This is hopeless. We're gonna die." Yeah, maybe not the best for the relationship. In psychological terms, the oasis symbolizes the key to solving one's problems. The person you encountered could be someone who has helped or comforted you in the past, or someone you might turn to in times of need. The town at your journey's end stands for the order restored to your emotions once you've recovered from your broken heart. Your feelings upon reaching the town are your true feelings about finally getting over a lost love. So exposing. And the new rider is your secret rival or someone you feel jealousy or resentment toward. Let me ask you, is the person that you named a rival in love, or maybe it's someone who broke your heart? Who is it? Rival, foe, heartbreaker. Let's ditch the land, and have some fun on a man-made playground. It's time to take a trip to the amusement park, and you are so excited to go. You've been waiting for this all week. You enter the park gate and you walk straight to the first roller coaster that you see. There's a line of people waiting their turn to ride, and you get in line behind them. How long do you wait before getting on the ride? Well, your turn finally comes, so you buckle up and the cart takes off. Now you're racing and plunging around the course. What kind of feelings does the speed bring out in you? At the most thrilling point of the ride, the roller coaster dives into a pool of water and you're drenched by the spray. What do you shout or scream at this instant? Your ride on the roller coaster was exciting, but you realize it really wasn't all it could have been. If you were going to design the perfect roller coaster, what would the experience look and be like? Next to the roller coaster is a merry-go-round. You decide to try it, but for some reason during your ride, the horse you're on breaks down and stops moving. What do you say to the horse? Perfect. In psychological terms, rhythmical up and down motions represent sexual excitement. So each of your responses to the 5 questions actually show your attitudes toward sex. The time you spent waiting in line reveals how much time you spend or would like your partner to spend on foreplay. Did you have to stand in line for hours before the main event, or did you just jump on board without waiting? Your feelings during the roller coaster ride reveal how you feel while making love, or knocking boots, or getting it on. Did you think, this is the best ride I've ever been on? Or was it more along the lines of, get me off this thing, I think I'm gonna throw up? In Jungian symbolism, water represents the source of life. Your words at the moment the roller coaster splashed into the pool show what you might say at the moment of sexual climax. Your plan for the ideal roller coaster shows your vision of the perfect sex life. The ups and downs of a roller coaster ride are an exact metaphor for the thrills and lulls of lovemaking. Was it a long, slow ascent, followed by a terrifying plunge? Maybe it was a series of acrobatic loops and 360-degree rolls. Or maybe you drew a course where you spent the whole ride turned upside down and backwards. Is it true to form? Just analyze it a little bit. Is it true to form? The horse, in psychosexual terms, is a symbol of the masculine principle. Your words to your broken down steed reflect what you might say to your partner in situations where the male energy failed to rise to the occasion. If it was something like, it's alright, don't worry about it, it's just a ride, you have a truly gentle and forgiving nature. But if it was something like, come on, you stupid horse, giddy up. Yikes. After all of your travels, you're settled back in at your house to recharge. As you're lounging around one Saturday afternoon, you're startled out of your reverie by the doorbell. When you open the door, you're greeted by a most unusual surprise. A pair of animal messengers has come to deliver news of your life in the future. But when you open their messages, you see that they contain very different predictions about what lies in store for you. One of the animals has a letter foretelling a life of happiness and contentment. The other only prophesies disaster and despair. Now I'm going to read you a list of animals, and you tell me which brought good tidings and which brought the omen of doom. You're going to pick a different animal for each one. And your choices are tiger, dog, sheep, parrot, or tortoise. Again, that's tiger, dog, sheep, parrot, or tortoise. Pick one for the happy news and one for the doom and gloom news. Do you have your happy animal picked out? How about your doom animal? Alright, here's what they reveal. For most people, the future is greatly influenced by their selection of a mate or a life partner. The animal messengers in this scenario correspond to your own perceptions of the type of people who are likely to bring you joy and grief. Animals are rich and complex in psychological significance and contain a range of positive and negative attributes and associations. In this scenario, the animal you choose as the bearer of the message of happiness represents the type of person you perceive as an ideal partner, while the doomsayer animal is the type of partner you fear would drag you down into the depths. So let's start with tiger. If the tiger brought you happiness, then you see yourself happiest with an ambitious and powerful mate who wants to lead and rule. If the tiger brought you doom, you dread the prospect of a vain, tyrannical partner who doesn't pull their weight around the house. Now the dog. If the dog brought you happiness, you seek unquestioning loyalty and absolute devotion most from your partner. If the dog brought you doom, you are utterly incompatible with anyone who tries to please everyone or cares what people think. If the sheep brought you happiness, you see the key to contentment as a warm-hearted, nurturing partner. If the sheep brought you doom, you fear winding up stuck with a boring home buddy. And now the parrot. If the parrot brought you happiness, nothing would suit you better than a talkative, fun-loving partner who knows how to make you laugh. If the parrot brought you doom, no one is worse for you than a chatterbox who likes to lounge and hates to work. And if the tortoise brought you happiness, your match made in heaven is serious, dependable, and reliable in the hour of need. If the tortoise brought you doom, the idea of a lifetime spent with a frustratingly slow-moving, slow-witted partner is your worst nightmare. Can you remember a time when someone's support helped you through a rough patch? You're about to provide that support for someone else. Now, I want you to imagine that you are a psychologist with a private counseling service. Tell me, what sort of room do you hold your therapy sessions in? Please describe the room in detail. What sort of room are you holding those therapy sessions in? Your first patient of the day has just walked in. They sit down and start to share what's troubling them. What problem are they struggling with the most? What problem are they struggling with? How do you counsel them, or what advice do you give them to help them with this problem? How does your patient react or respond to you as you share your professional insights? the end of the day and office hours are over. You are buried in paperwork when suddenly someone unexpectedly rushes in. Who is it? Who rushes in? Very good. Let's see what your responses reveal about you on a deeper level. The patient in this scenario represents a part of you that's in need of support and guidance. The office you imagined indicates an element you feel is missing in your life. Did you picture a cozy, quiet space for deep reflection? Maybe it was a bright room that encourages full expression and getting things out in the open. Or maybe it was a warm, welcoming environment that feels safe and nurturing. Where is your mind telling you that you need to be? The problem your patient struggled with is actually a source of stress for you. Was it a toxic environment, internal blocks, a traumatic experience? The advice you gave might be the clear, rational advice you need to hear. But the question is, can you take your own advice and apply it to your life? How your patient responded to your advice reveals your ability to accept and act on good advice when it's given to you. Were they focused and engaged, or did they act defensive and insist they knew better? Maybe they acted like they agreed, but you could tell they were about to dismiss your advice as soon as they left. What does their reaction reveal about how open you are to changing? The person who unexpectedly rushed in is someone who causes you anxiety. Some aspect of their struggle reminds you of your own. But this does not mean you should avoid them. The more you observe what it is about them that causes you anxiety, the easier it will be to work through your own internal battles. Some people think of home as a roof over their head or a place to rest after a long day. But for many others, the home holds a deeper meaning. It represents safety, comfort, and love. Home is where the heart is, right? The home has the ability to really reflect the personalities of the people living in it over time. So tell me, how do you picture your dream home? The home you see yourself most comfortable living in. How do you picture that dream home of yours? Let's take a look inside. As soon as you step through the front door, you see a staircase immediately in front of you. Is the staircase brightly illuminated or dimly lit? Brightly illuminated or dimly lit? The house hasn't been lived in for a while, so there are areas that could really benefit from some tender love and care. Hallway, kitchen, toilet, bathtub. Those are just some examples, but which room stands out as needing the most deep cleaning? And which area is in the best condition. As you wander from room to room, you notice the front door is still cracked open, and you catch someone peeking in. Who is the person peeking in? Attaining your dream home is like achieving a life goal. The way you envisioned your perfect space is closely tied to what you see for your future. Consider the staircase. It symbolizes what's ahead. If you pictured a well-lit staircase, this typically means you have clear ambitions and a hopeful outlook. If you imagined a dark stairway, you might feel uncertain or anxious about where life is taking you. The messiest or dirtiest room reveals an area of your life where you think you'll face the most challenges, while the cleanest room is likely to be the key to your success and fulfillment. For example, if you pictured a messy hallway, that might indicate social anxiety and difficulty navigating relationships, while a clean hallway signifies you're a great networker who forms lasting connections. A dirty kitchen suggests internal stress and unresolved trauma that might lead to self-sabotage, while a clean kitchen indicates an ability to adapt and overcome by relying on internal guidance and support. A dirty toilet suggests fears surrounding scarcity, debt, and even bankruptcy. A clean toilet suggests financial security and success. Now the bathtub symbolizes health. A dirty bathtub often points to fears about potential future illness. If the tub is clean, it suggests you pay attention to maintaining good health and an optimistic outlook. The person peeking in through the cracked door is someone perceived as a potential threat to your future happiness. It may even be someone you could never imagine causing you intentional harm. But deep down, this person brings a sense of unease because you know they hold the greatest power to hurt you. As a reminder, our intuition often picks up on warning signs our conscious minds brush aside. Dogs might be considered man's best friend, but cats, they are definitely their own best buds. Love them, hate them, and let's be real, they probably don't care. Cats have been part of our lives for ages, and it is clear they're not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not like they do much for us, but that cool indifference, quiet confidence, and air of mystery give them a special place in our hearts and homes. Of the following 4 phrases, which best describes your perception of cats? When you think of cats, do you picture them 1. Lounging in the sun, 2. Mysterious and elusive, 3. Delightfully soft and cuddly, 4. A solitary wanderer? Again, which best describes your perception of cats? Do you picture them 1. Lounging in the sun, 2. Mysterious and elusive, 3, delightfully soft and cuddly. Or 4, a solitary wanderer. Got it? Good. In Jungian psychology, cats symbolize the feminine principle called the anima. The anima reflects your true inner self, separate from any societal roles. Your perception of cats reveals the true nature of your authentic self. If you chose one, lounging in the sun, you are an easygoing person who gets along with almost everyone, and people see you as being comfortable in your skin and in any situation. But that same sense of comfort you exude can also make you appear superficial or indifferent to other people's feelings. If you chose 2, mysterious and elusive, your true inner self is a kaleidoscope, constantly shifting and evolving. This keeps the people you care about on their toes, making your behavior an exciting puzzle for the people who love you, but for those who don't have the patience or interest to unravel your mysteries, you might come off as a bit more complicated than it's worth. If you chose 3, delightfully soft and cuddly, you view the world as a space designed to inspire and cater to your needs. This can come across as a calm confidence or extreme self-absorption. But until you notice how this behavior directly affects your life, you won't be bothered to take a deeper look at it. If you chose 4, a solitary wanderer, you are deeply in tune with the emotional and social dynamics around you. And this makes you come across as caring, warm, and genuinely invested in others. But this sensitivity can also make you seem a bit dramatic or overly sensitive when you finally open up and share your feelings. Have you ever had a day where everything just fell into place? Where each little stroke of luck made your day get better and better? But then, of course, there's the flip side, where one tiny snafu snaps you back to reality. It's life's twists and turns that keep you on your toes, right? Well, you take a trip to your favorite bakery to grab a jelly donut. Yum. But when you get home to take a big, juicy bite, surprise, your jelly donut is completely missing the jelly in the middle. How do you react to this letdown? You have 4 options, and they are: 1, return to the shop and get a new donut. 2, accept that these things happen and continue enjoying your donut. 3, eat something else. 4, try filling the empty donut yourself to make it taste better. Again, you have 4 options, and they are: 1, return to the shop and get a new donut. 2, accept that these things happen and continue enjoying the donut. 3, eat something else. Or 4, try filling the empty donut yourself to make it taste better. Have you made your selection? Very nice. You might be surprised to learn that your selection reveals the role you take within your friend group. If you return to the shop to get a new donut, you are grounded and remain calm when life throws you curveballs. Your friends turn to you for your level-headed advice. However, you aren't the type to take charge or make commands. You prefer supporting the person making the decisions by giving them your sharp insights. If you continued enjoying the donut, you aren't shook by surprises. Your patient, easygoing nature makes you very easy to get along with. You're the glue that binds your friend group together. Because you never make anything a big deal, you don't necessarily stand out, but your friends always notice when you're not there. If you decided to eat something else, you're the natural leader of the group. You're the decision maker who decides on group activities. You face disagreements head on, and your natural confidence means that when you speak, your friends pay attention. If you tried filling the empty donut yourself to make it taste better, you're the idea person in the friend group. You bring a fresh perspective that spots opportunities where others see roadblocks. Your friends appreciate the way you keep things interesting, and they know that no matter what, they can rely on you to keep things fun. If I handed you a pen and paper and asked you to sketch something specific and relatively simple, chances are you would start drawing it instantly. But if I asked you to draw anything you wanted, you'd likely freeze for a second. The idea of absolute freedom can cause more hesitation than a challenging obstacle. Now, I have given you a single sheet of paper and a pair of scissors. I want you to cut the paper into 2 halves. How do you cut the paper? You have 4 options, and they are 1. A clean cut down the middle. 2. A wavy line. 3. A zigzag. 4. A gently rounded curve. Again, your options are 1. A clean cut down the middle. 2. A wavy line. 3. A zigzag. 4. A gently rounded curve. Did you make your selection? So what does the way you cut the paper in half mean? Well, it reveals how you choose to end friendships and relationships. While it doesn't have to get all complicated, a clean break doesn't always fit the situation. However, if you did choose a clean cut down the middle, when you decide to end a relationship, it's final. There's no second guessing or looking back. You believe that a clean cut is the least painful and best way to heal without scarring. You apply the same cold detachment to every aspect of your life. If you went with a wavy line, you stress out and overanalyze potential decisions, not wanting anyone to feel hurt or upset. Sometimes you second guess so much it makes your head spin. Just remember, dragging things out just makes the situation worse for everyone involved. If you did a zigzag, you see happy endings as a joke. You think everyone should experience the same amount of pain when a relationship ends. You'd rather act out in a way that ensures the entire relationship blows up. If you cut a gently rounded curve, understand why a breakup is necessary when all you really need is some time apart. Just remember, not everyone shares your hopeful outlook. When someone tells you it's over, they typically mean it. A new job is always stressful. The learning curve, new colleagues, the desire to make a good impression, the slip-ups. We tend to learn best from our mistakes. Your friend just started a new job, waiting tables at a restaurant. You decide to drop in and see how they're doing. But as soon as you step inside, you find your friend in an argument with a customer. What did your friend do wrong? You have 4 options, and they are: 1. They didn't come to the table when called. 2. They got the order wrong. 3. They spilled something on the customer. 4. They started cleaning the table before the customer finished eating. Again, the options are: 1. They didn't come to the table when called. 2. They got the order wrong. 3. They spilled something on the customer. 4. They started clearing the table before the customer finished eating. Your friend at the restaurant is actually your psychological stand-in. The mistake you witnessed reflects your own personal weakness when it comes to responding to others' needs. This mirrors issues you've likely encountered in your love life. If your friend didn't come to the table when called, you struggle to focus on your partner. When you go out with them, you might temporarily ditch them if something you see intrigues you. Or you might even get caught checking other people out when you're together. If you're actually interested in the person you're with, pay attention to them, or you're better off not being with them at all. If the order was wrong, you may shirk responsibility in your relationships. You might be known for never showing up on time, or even inviting your friends to date night. For a happier love life, you need to pay more attention to your partner's needs and feelings. If something spilled on the customer, dating gives you anxiety. You stress over every little detail because you want your experience together to be perfect. This makes it hard for the person you're with to relax. You make a great first impression, but things can go south if you continue to apply so much pressure to your time together. If your friend started clearing the table before the customer finished eating, you often rush into love. While your eagerness is initially seen as endearing, it might take a quick turn and become overly needy and clingy. Make sure to give your partner the space to breathe. If you don't, it's more likely you'll end up solo than forming the connection you are so desperate for. Finding the perfect pair of shoes can turn into a full-on obsession. When you think about it, shoes can make or break an outfit. I want you to suspend total disbelief for a second and imagine yourself as a comfortable pair of shoes. Now tell me, who is wearing you? Yeah, you are the shoes, but who is wearing you as the shoes? Who's wearing you? Here's what it reveals. When you picture yourself as someone else's shoes, you put yourself in a position where they can step all over you. The person you chose to have wear you is someone you easily follow or devote yourself to. Someone you are willing and ready to give your heart and soul to. Did that catch you off guard? Don't worry, there's no shame in wanting to be completely dominated. Maybe a little embarrassment, but that's part of the thrill, right? There's only one way to win the battle of the bulge. Exercise. Fitness has evolved to be fun, and anyone with a regular workout routine will tell you a good workout releases endorphins that make you feel great. So, you decide to join a gym, but for some reason you stop going. What's that reason? Why did you decide to quit going to the gym? After another stint as a couch potato, you decide to start exercising again. This time at a new gym. Describe your process of finding a new gym. How did you find the gym you want to join? You find a gym you like and decide to sign up for a free one-day trial. What does your trial workout instructor look like? Describe their appearance. You join this new gym and begin a regular workout routine. One day, you notice the gym always seems to play the same background music. What kind of music is it? Here's what your gym session suggests. Some say sex is one of the best workouts for your body. How you approach finding a good gym points to how you choose your partners in love. Your reason for quitting the gym relates to why you might lose interest in a lover. Was there not enough variety, or maybe there were too many options? Maybe you were just too busy. Your search for a new gym mirrors how you find a new partner. Do you gather as much information as possible and review the pros and cons? Maybe you look for a cheap and easy gym. Or maybe you seek recommendations. Your description of the workout instructor reflects someone you would secretly like to have a one-night stand with. The background music is the type of music you prefer to listen to while having sex. If you aren't listening to it already, you might want to give it a try. In the midst of a serene and expansive grassy field, you find a moment of peace. The sun casts a warm glow over the landscape, and the gentle breeze carries the sweet scent of nature. As you settle down onto the soft, welcoming grass, a sense of calm envelops you. In this tranquil setting, you take the opportunity to engage in a simple yet enchanting activity. You begin to blow bubbles, watching as they float effortlessly into the air, their delicate forms shimmering in the sunlight. Each bubble, unique in its journey, rises and dances before your eyes, creating a mesmerizing display against the clear blue sky. This serene activity, amidst the beauty of nature, creates a sense of harmony between you and the natural world. Now, I want you to characterize the bubble's appearance and movement. Are your bubbles big or are they small? Big bubbles indicate that you are outgoing, adventurous, and have a desire for attention. Big bubbles may indicate a sense of accomplishment or potential for growth. Small bubbles suggest that you are reserved, cautious, and value subtlety. When faced with challenging situations, blowing small bubbles can be a way to engage with the difficulties in a more measured and mindful way, allowing for a sense of control and focus amidst the obstacles. What shape are your bubbles? If your bubbles are spherical, you are known for your methodical and precise nature, and are often seen as someone who values orderliness, structure, and balance. You have a strong desire for perfection in both your work and personal pursuits, which drives you to strive for excellence in everything you do. If they have an irregular shape, you are often perceived as unconventional, with a unique and creative perspective on the world. Your inclination toward creativity, spontaneity, and unpredictability are highly valued. How many bubbles are there? If you notice that only one bubble forms, you prioritize quality over quantity, and you value introspection and patience in your work. Blowing one bubble may symbolize your desire to achieve a specific goal or to concentrate your efforts on one area of your life. If there are few bubbles, you value simplicity and minimalism and prefer a life free of clutter or burdens. You desire to prioritize and streamline your goals and actions and to eliminate distractions that may be hindering your progress. If there are many bubbles, you hold a deep appreciation for creativity, abundance, and open-mindedness, which radiates positivity and optimism with others. The abundance of bubbles may also symbolize the abundance of ideas and opportunities that surround you, providing inspiration to seize the possibilities that lie ahead. How fast are your bubbles moving? If they are slow-moving bubbles, you are contemplative and introspective, often taking time to reflect on your thoughts and emotions and seek understanding of your own motivations and desires. If they are fast-moving bubbles, you have an energetic and ambitious personality, constantly pursuing success and achievement in life. And you have a go-getter mentality that compels you to take action without delay. And how long do your bubbles last? Do they pop quickly? If they last a long time, you possess the determination to invest time and effort in achieving your long-term goals. You maintain a composed and steady demeanor when confronting obstacles. If they pop quickly, you have a dynamic and spontaneous personality that thrives on new experiences and taking risks. You may have difficulty sustaining your attention and may be prone to impulsivity and leading you to give up too easily without fully considering the consequences. How high in the air are your bubbles? If they are high in the air, your creative and imaginative mind, coupled with your positive and enthusiastic outlook on life, inspires others to be more hopeful and optimistic. Your sense of adventure and willingness to try new things makes you a fun and exciting person to be around. If they are low in the air, you value stability and routine in daily life, and you approach decision-making cautiously and thoughtfully. If you feel frustrated with the lack of progress toward your goals, it may be helpful to focus more on the necessary steps to achieve them. And that was the bubble experience. Did it unearth anything new about the choices that you make and your personal makeup? I learned I was a bit adventurous and spontaneous and creative, which were things I didn't know. What did you find out that you didn't know? Isn't it so great to know yourself through bubbles? One of the best things you could possibly do, right? Other than go explore this castle, of course. This is the next guided visualization relational psychological test. And you're going to answer what comes naturally to you. Taking time to really imagine yourself in this situation. And don't think in survivalist mode. You can check that at the door. And that is because the first thing that you're going to imagine is that you're on board a boat and the boat is sinking. You manage to swim to a lifeboat and climb in. How many people do you see in the lifeboat with you? Okay, and now you row to the shore and you see a vast desert before you. You collect some belongings and supplies and head out across the desert in search of salvation. How many pairs of shoes do you use before you reach salvation? How many shoes? Upon reaching salvation, you find a city, and you see a castle that intrigues you, so you decide to go to it. After passing the gates, you find yourself walking down the length of a long corridor that leads to the throne room. You enter the throne room and see the king and queen sitting side by side on the throne. What do both the king and the queen look like? What characteristics do they seem to embody? After the throne room, you leave and go down a spiral stairway. It's dark and shadowy, with torches lit intermittently along the walls. As you're walking down the stairs, a lady or a knight, your choice, passes you by. You only catch a glimpse of their face, and they remind you of someone you know. Who do they remind you of? The stairs lead you to a banquet room, where you see a long table with a golden goblet in the middle of it. You look inside the goblet. How much wine do you find in it? Here's what your answers say about you. The number of people in the boat denotes how many friends you perceive you have. The number of shoes you go through before reaching salvation indicates the number of true loves you'll experience before getting married. The description of the king or queen represent what you'd imagine your ideal mate or companion to be like. The person, the lady, or knight, or a mixture of both, looks like is the person you are hung up on. And how full the glass of wine is represents how much you give of yourself in a relationship. What do you think? you see those parallels? Well, we'll see what the jungle reveals for you next. We're going deep into the jungle now. Imagine you're walking in a lush jungle. As you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. Hear the birds. Feel the air. Smell the flowers and trees. And see your surroundings in vivid detail. After a short while, you reach a hut. Do you pass it? If you approach it, do you knock before going in? Or do you simply rush in? Now, imagine yourself inside the hut. You enter to find 20 unlit candles on a table. How many candles will you light up? Is the table square or round? How many chairs do you see around the table? You notice there's a jug on the table as well. What material is the jug made out of? You take a look inside the jug. How much water is inside the jug? Your curiosity satisfied, you exit the hut and notice the sound of rushing water. You let this sound lead you deeper into the jungle until you finally reach a beautiful waterfall. How fast is the waterfall? How many swans are near the waterfall? Very, very good. And what does the jungle reveal about you then? If you walked past the hut, you are not ready for relationships. If you chose to knock or rush into the hut, you are ready for relationships, and your method reveals how you approach them. The number of candles you chose to light represents how generous you are. The more you light, the more generous you are. If the table was square, you are more stubborn. If you chose a round table, you are more flexible. The number of chairs indicates your hospitality. The more chairs, the more company you are likely to entertain. The jug material is the material of your heart. The amount of water refers to the amount of love you will give to your partner. The speed of the waterfall is your libido. The number of swans symbolizes the number of best friends you have. How true were the swans to your best friend ratio in real life? What about your libido? And the candles? Did you light them? Well, finally, we'll do a quick priority test. I have 5 situations, and you are going to rank them in terms of priority, which you would handle first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And if you can't remember them all, what's most important is knowing at least first through third. But I will run through them a few times, so you'll likely remember. So of these 5 scenarios, in what order would you handle or address them? A baby is crying. The clothes are hanging outside, and it has started raining. The water is running from the tap. The doorbell is ringing. The phone is ringing. Again, a baby is crying. The clothes are hanging outside, and it has started raining. The water is running from the tap. The doorbell is ringing. The phone is ringing. And once more, of the 5 situations, they are: a baby is crying, the clothes are hanging outside, and it has started raining, the water is running from the tap, the doorbell is ringing, the phone is ringing. Now rank them with what you would attend to first through 5th. What order would you handle these situations? How would you prioritize them? This is what it reveals about you. If you tend to the baby first, your priority is family. If you bring the clothes inside first, your priority is sex. If you switch the tap off first, your priority is wealth. If you see who is at the door first, your priority is friends and relatives. If you answer the phone first, your priority is career and job. So, for example, if the first thing you did was answer the phone, then your biggest priority in life would be your career and job. Similarly, if the 4th thing you did was attend to the baby, then your 4th priority would be your family. You have successfully made it through 45 Kokology scenarios. Congratulations. You are now self-actualized.